155 to go. 21. April. Dearest Suzie, I don't know what is wrong with the mail system over here, but I didn't get a letter for the past 3 days. I'm sure it must be the service, though. We had a mission yesterday, but it didn't amount to anything. We didn't get a person, we have another one tomorrow, and I don't know how it will be. I'm looking forward to that new company coming to Soc Trang. It will be nice to see all the guys again. Today was real slow. I worked on my operations office this morning, painting and moving things around. Then this afternoon we went to the range for about an hour. I still haven't heard from Minnie. Does she still write and call you like she was before? Well, news is very short. I hate to write such short letters, but at least you can know I'm thinking of you. Of course, if I wrote every time I thought of you, it would take everything I make to buy paper and stamps. One thing I want to do when I get home is for all of us to pack up one day and take a fishing pole apiece and go down to some little creek and just fish all day. Miss you all very much, and love you. All my love, Bill. P.S. If you don't get one of the Orlando papers, I wish you would and check it every day, and get someone else to check the other one. Our information officer sends a lot of pictures of us to our hometown papers. Love, Bill. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to go to the Library of Congress and do some research. I still have my Library of Congress library card. Among other things, while I was there, I decided to look for any mention of Popi in their newspaper archives. Though I've been told Popi did make the Orlando Sentinel once or twice, the only mention I found of him in a national newspaper came in an article published on May 28th, written by Arthur Vesey in the Chicago Tribune. As an example of what Popi was talking about, please allow me the opportunity to read that article for you now. Troops break up rest area of Viet Cong. Duc Ton, Vietnam, May 27. There's a section of the Kim Mai Canal east of here that the Communist Viet Cong, the VC, regard as their private R&R area. In Army talk, R&R stands for rest and recreation, so the letters are popular in any man's army. I suppose they like it because they consider it fairly safe, said Captain James Lincoln, Washington, D.C., who heads a 5-man American team sent here to help spread peace through a widely scattered rice farming community of about 50,000. The stretch of canal, the captain said, is outside the range of artillery. It can, in the dry season, be reached only by small boats or by foot. The nearest home guard troops are here at Duc Ton, a hard 2-hour walk. Ask civilians to leave. For a month, the government has been dropping leaflets urging the canal people to leave, and about a third of them have done so, but it's hard for any family to part with its land, its home, its garden, the spirits of ancestors assumed to be still hovering about. Until all peaceful-minded folk have left the canal, the government and its American advisors don't want to start bombing there. One evening, word came into Duc Ton that 300 or more VC had arrived along the canal and were settling down for a quiet time between operations in the Delta. The command decided this was making too much of a good thing. 10 or 20, yes, but 300? Troops on move early. So by 4 a.m., government troops were on the move. Captain Lincoln and 100 home guards headed east on foot. Clovis Jackson, Kenosha, Wisconsin, an Army medic for 12 years, went along. Some regular infantrymen, with Captain Alvin Broyles, Johnson City, Tennessee, were taken by truck as far as the road went and then started walking up the canal more from the south. More infantrymen came down the canal from the north in small boats. Armored carriers, the nearest thing Vietnam has to tanks, began making a wide sweep from the southwest. The troop's American advisor, a young lieutenant, was in Hong Kong on his own R&R, so Captain Victor Kelly, a native of Wichita, Kansas, and a former Tucson, Arizona high school teacher, took his place. With him went a young Englishman named William Abbott, who joined the American Army on condition he could come to Vietnam. He now is a sergeant, though still a subject of the Queen. Finds empty houses. Everybody was in place at dawn. All started moving in the R&R area. The sun, blood red as it came up over the dry rice fields, revealed ominous signs. Nobody was about, in the houses, in the gardens, out in the fields. The caribou had disappeared. Even the skinny dogs were gone. The stillness meant some VC were there, although most of the 300 had probably left. The infantrymen moved slowly, searching houses, gardens, water jugs, and heavy foliage along the canal. The armored carriers swept along an adjoining canal, found no foe, and started down another canal. About noon, both columns, about 2 miles apart on the canal, came under fire. The The VC were so well hidden that they let part of the southern column pass before they started shooting. That meant infantry and VC were all mixed up, so the infantry couldn't merely spray every thicket and hope to hit a VC. More likely, they would hit a buddy. Felled by sniper shots. About 1 o'clock, Captain Broyles walked from a house he had been searching and started on the edge of a fishing pond. From across the canal, 3 sniper shots felled him. The news quickly reached division headquarters at Sadek, about 12 miles to the north. Captain Thomas Garrigan, Winnemac, Indiana, ran to the mess hall, found a helicopter crew there, and was on the way to help Broyles. In another 10 minutes, he was over the battlefield. He radioed down, asking where Broyles lay. No one knew. The crew sat down in a rice field, outside rifle range. The armored carriers with Captain Kelly and the Englishmen had already abandoned their search of minor canals and were crossing open rice fields to the R&R area, ignoring the possibility that the VC there might have recoilless rifles, which are murder to the lightly plated vehicles. Goes in on foot. The Hoosier radioed Kelly, but couldn't reach him. Another copter in the sky heard, and its pilot, Warrant Officer William Lowy, Orlando, Florida, called down to Kelly. Kelly's carrier reached the trees about 50 yards from the canal bank. "This thing can't go any farther," he radioed. "I'm taking a squad and going on to find Broyles." He took only 2 troopers. They found the particular stretch of canal quiet and separated to search for Broyles. The 2 Vietnamese found him. They crawled along the fish pond, reached down the bank, and tried to pull him out. They couldn't budge him. For Broyles was a big man, more than 200 pounds, more than the 2 Vietnamese weighed together. Lift's body, killed. Kelly saw them and came over, but neither could he drag Broyles up the bank. So he went down the bank, bent and grabbed the body, for Broyles was dead, under the arms and started to lift him the professional weightlifter way, knees bent, back straight, and upright. But as Kelly was rising, the sniper struck with 3 more shots. 1 bullet pierced Kelly's metal helmet, and Broyles' body slipped back into the mud, with Kelly's on top of it. The command called upon Rangers, veteran troubleshooters. About 240 of them loaded up in helicopters, and Cobra gunships escorted them to the dry rice fields. Shoot from the hip. The Rangers formed one long line and ran for the trees, directly into the face of the VC. They shot from the hip as they ran and shouted. The VC, who had been careful in picking off single targets, now fired everything they had. Bullets poured across the fields. Some 20 Rangers, 1 in 10, dropped, 3 of them dead, but the rest ran on. They reached the brush, and trees and houses and gardens and fish ponds. For 10 minutes there was a wild scene, Rangers and VC meeting little more than rifle barrel apart. 3 more Rangers died, but all VC who exposed themselves also died. They numbered only about a dozen. By evening, all was quiet. 36 VC bodies were stacked up for burial. 7 VC were taken prisoner. Several weapons seized. The cost was 15 Vietnamese soldiers and the 2 Americans dead. More than a score of Vietnamese wounded. I'm sure we may or may not hear about this story from Popi in May, but I look forward to seeing if we do. The photo I chose for today is likely his operations office. There is an American flag, a desk, and many posters on the wall which look like they aid in planning their operations. I'm Alex Lowy, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to this episode of Dearest Suzie, and receiving messages from the past that my Popi wrote exactly 60 years ago. I sincerely appreciate your time and interest. Please consider following the podcast on your preferred platform, and if you're enjoying it, I kindly ask that you take the time to rate the show and leave a review. Also, please follow the project on YouTube, X, and Instagram. All likes, comments, shares, and reviews will help grow the reach of this story. The links for these things should be in the description of this episode. Please feel free to email me at dearestsuziepodcast@gmail.com if you have anything you'd like to say. I'd love to chat or to hear about your stories as well. Thank you for listening, and God bless.